Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. I'm Crystal Dawn Hill, and I just finished doing a two-part video about a major trigger that caused me to start clearing out my most persistent wound. And I'm not going to keep going on about that specific thing, but after I posted both of those videos, I felt like there was more I wanted to say. And I realized that I didn't really talk about my Divine Masculine's role in helping me with that. And as I was thinking about that, and what I wanted to say when I came back on was, that I remembered a couple of days ago knowing intuitively that he was beginning to rise into his divinity, and that was causing a lot of this purging and clearing to begin for me. And again, intuitively, it felt like, and I just got a ringing in one of my ears. So for me, that's confirmation, because it just started for no apparent reason other than me talking about this. Anyway, I remembered that, I felt like it was me doing this with him, like he was going through a purge and I was physically in the same space as him and experiencing it along with him. And I knew that intuitively, and I wrote about it, and I had some kind of validation. I can't remember what it was now. But anyway, I'm starting to get a little hoarse because I've been talking now for like 20 minutes between my other two videos and this one. But yeah, I just wanted to share that I do believe that he is beginning to embody his divinity or his higher self, and that he's starting to clear out a lot of stuff. And this morning when I was purging, I was meditating on, like, I was paying close attention to my body and what I was feeling and, everything like that. And I remember being like taken back to the beginning when I was feeling him and me merge. And as I was experiencing that, it felt like it was pushing out a lot of stuff for him. And I really gave this a lot of thought. And it was this morning, like shortly after I woke up, and I wasn't completely coherent, but enough to really acknowledge and to process what was going on. It's just that I didn't really retain it very well until just now. It's starting to come back. But like what I was meditating, I was actually like, asking myself or higher self or my guide or whatever, like, what is exactly is happening. And it wasn't that I needed to know or that I was, obsessed about it or anything. I was just genuinely curious, like, what is happening now compared to back then when the merging was going on. And what I was shown was, it's like flip-flopped. And I might have to write this down just to make it more clear, because I'm just saying it off the top of my head. But it's like before, when we were merging, I was more or less observing what was happening with him. And I feel like that's what he's doing now. I think when the Divine Masculine begins to embody their higher self, it's like they're in 5D and they're observing what's happening with their feminine after she has begun to embody her higher self and become more in her body, like in 3D. And so it's like we both have, and I've been saying this all throughout my journey to people. Like if they ask why am I experiencing this, but he isn't, or blah, 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 I would say we both have to go through everything in order to genuinely and fully understand each other. So I think finally, after all these years, it's been over 7 years since my Divine Masculine and I met in his current incarnation. I think it's finally shifted to where I've gone through all of my stuff and he's going through all of his stuff. And then there'll come a point, assuming he's okay and assuming he's still here with us in this world, which I feel very strongly that he is, that there will come a point where we'll both see both sides of the journey, like not only through the same lens, which we've essentially been doing all along, but also from our individual perspectives as ourselves and as each other. But what I believe ultimately happens after all that is nearing completion is that we both begin to see it from our higher self perspective. So not just through the same lens, like empathetically as being each other, but also as having embodied our higher self fully, we can then see the whole thing. And I'm getting cold chills all over me. And whenever I get cold chills when I'm saying something, that's always validation that it's correct and that it's truth. So not only do we see it as each other and ourselves, but also through the lens of our higher self. So I think so many people talk about the goal of union. In my personal opinion, and by way of my intuition and my experience, how everything has gone thus far, I believe that's the goal, is for each of us to, like balancing our masculine and feminine within us is only part of the journey. When we come in to meeting our divine partner, if we haven't already balanced our energies within ourselves, we have to do that. Then we balance the energy between us. And once all of that happens and the merging happens and all of this that I've been talking about today, then we become a unified soul and then embody that unified soul in our physical human body. That's the goal of this journey, is to essentially bring in heaven to earth. And we live that while we're physically here, alive in a human body. So with all of that being said, thank you again for listening and for following along. I hope this has been helpful or enlightening or has sparked some sort of interest or curiosity for you, or has helped you to kind of reach that next level of understanding. So thank you all very much for following along. Have a wonderful day and take care.